Coming up later on BBC One, Esther Ranson talks about her favourite penis-shaped vegetables on That's Life. But first, Mastermind. Which YouTube video about a Spectrum game based around a TV show is going to be quite short due to the lack of content in the game itself, a lack of coverage in games magazines, and is based on a TV show that has a concept that can be explained in a sentence much shorter than this one? This one? Correct. How soon will there be a terrible hackneyed I've started so I'll finish joke? Now? Correct. Well done, Jez Manchild. You have scored the chance to review a game based on Mastermind on the ZX Spectrum. You know, I'd rather not, but okay. BBC quiz show Mastermind started in 1972 and has been running ever since. It's inarguable that in terms of iconography, Mastermind is the most famous and identifiable of all of British quiz shows, and yes, I'm including chain letters there. The intimidating atmosphere with the starkly dark lighting, the uncomfortable looking computer chair, the constant stream of challenging questions fired one after the other, and its intimidating theme music were actually designed by creator Bill Wright to mirror his own harrowing experiences of being interrogated by the Gestapo during those horrendous times of World War II. Yes, torture turned into entertainment. Who says you can't get positive things out of terrible things? Incidentally, the famous music was a piece by composer Neil Richardson called The Approaching Menace, which is a name that can be attributed to any number of single alone men in the local park when I was younger. 4 to 6 contestants, depending on the series, compete over 2 rounds, the first one being based on a specialist subject. The specialist subject is something that the contestant chooses themselves. And questions can range from anything from Ipswich Town's under-21 team in 1997 to 1998 season, or even the Michelin star-winning Greasy Spoon Cafes of Burundi, whereas the second round is the far more palatable and less exclusive general knowledge round, which I say is less exclusive, but it's actually full of questions that most of us will struggle to answer, and it's probably best that we all just watch Family Fortunes instead, you know, the celebrity one, the all-star one, so we feel a bit less inadequate instead. Originally presented for its initial 25-year run by stoic and brilliantly named Icelander Magnus Magnusson, Mastermind is the very definition of a British television institution, and, much like others of a similar nature, such as Blue Peter, I don't know anyone that regularly admitted to watching it. It did have some kick-ass parodies thanks to Harry Enfield and, of course, the very famous Two Ronnies sketch, though. Mirrorsoft, the company that were eventually to be owned by yacht faller offerer Robert Maxwell, published BBC Mastermind and its sister software, BBC Mastermind Quizmaster, in 1984. They were programmed by Ivan Berg in BASIC, and BBC Mastermind is a fair to accurate representation of the quiz itself. It has 2 rounds, one for specialist subjects and one for general knowledge. Along with the software's age making a lot of the game's pop culture questions quite difficult, the game doesn't skimp on the tricky nature of its questions based on art, science, history or literature in the general knowledge round either. Ivan Berg has definitely not shortchanged us with the difficulty of the game's questions, and as such he should be commended for not cheapening the experience by making easier questions for the game. Unfortunately, what he hasn't done is provided very many of them. If you select general knowledge as your specialist subject, you may well have to load up the exact same set of questions in your actual general knowledge round, which I suppose at least makes the game easier for thickos like me. Yes, in terms of the base Mastermind cassette, there is very little in the way of questions on its short data packs that come later on in the cassette. How does it handle the specialist subject round? Well, about as well as expected for an early 80s basic quiz game. You can select about 4 specialist subjects from TV and film to sport, and there aren't many questions in any of them. It's highly likely if you played the game for an hour and did all of the specialist subjects, you'd have seen all of the questions. That's a very underwhelming amount of content for your $9.95 investment. I'm sure that you will agree. So how do we combat this? Well, if you want to answer 10 questions based on Dr. Evazan from Star Wars, the average penis length of mammals, the Kit Kat flavours of Japan, or the special prizes of Bullseye, well, you can, if you've got a good, very understanding friend and a copy of BBC Mastermind Quizmaster. With Quizmaster, you can write your own subjects, your own questions, and save them as data packs. And this means that the questions go from a pitiful amount to infinite. Well, infinite if that friend of yours can be locked in a basement as a Spectrum basic quiz question writing slave for the rest of his life. It's easy to use in fairness and was available in a double pack or singularly. BBC Mastermind didn't get acknowledged by our usual crew of your Sinclair CMVG or Sinclair user in terms of a review, and Crash only ran a small feature on it as part of an article on Microsoft's educational output. So I guess it's entirely up to me to say how the game is. And well, BBC Mastermind is a very accurate, very, very unflashy representation of one of the greatest British quiz shows, but it's also horrendously thin on actual content. The Quizmaster add-on title doesn't really conceal this game's biggest flaw, but I'm not sure how you're going to get round that particular aspect of the game. The specialist subject barrier is a hard one to broach. Microsoft simply cannot tailor the game around the player, short of that Quizmaster add-on cassette. As such, Mastermind ranks pretty low on the TV quiz games I've done so far, and I've done a fair few. Oh well, sorry Magnus Magnusson. It looks like you're near the bottom, mate. Right, I'm off. Oh, wait a minute. I suppose you're expecting that I do another I've started so I'll finish. Were you expecting another I've started so I'll finish joke? Well, I'm not that predictable, actually. So the next episode? Well, it's Dr. Bloody Who, isn't it? Like, comment, subscribe, and okay, thanks, bye.